And welcome to the 38th episode of the TechnoBuffalo Show. I'm one of your two hosts for today, Sean Ani, editor-in-chief of the site, and I'm joined by Deputy Managing Editor Todd Hazelton.
Hey, everybody.
He's
I'm
back!
back.
So let's see. We won't go into how your travels went.
Yes, they were long, to say the least.
Yes, with an added extra day that we won't discuss.
That's right.
But for those that may not have known, Todd was off at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
And, not a whole lot's been going on the past couple of weeks, Todd. I don't know what we're going to talk about this week.
I know, it's crazy. There's been so much.
Yeah, because as soon as you got back from that, we had the Apple event.
Right.
But let's go in chronological order. Let's jump back to Mobile World Congress.
Okay.
And, of course, we had the announcement of the Galaxy S6 and the Galaxy S6 Edge, which both were well-known before they came out.
Mm-hmm.
And we also had the announcement of the HTC One M9, also well-known before it came out.
Right.
Now, excuse me. Should I call it Galaxy S Space 6?
Yeah. I don't know why they did that this time. We're not
just
going to do that.
Just so everyone knows, Samsung sent out an email to the press shortly before the event telling us that while in the rest of the world it was going to be written as Galaxy S6, in the U.S. they had planned to write it as Galaxy S Space 6. And we're like, that's nice.
Yeah. And then for the Edge, it was Galaxy S Space 6 Space lowercase Edge.
Yeah.
Come on.
Whatever. So you've had some brief hands-on time with each of these phones.
Yep.
Was there anything that you walked away from being really impressed with any of them?
I think for me the biggest thing was that Samsung really, and they said that, look, we made some mistakes along the way and we listened to our consumers, and they did. The S6 and the S6 Edge have the aluminum bodies. They have gorgeous displays. They shine in the light unlike anything else I've seen. They look like very premium handsets. So for anybody that's complained in the past about Samsung and plastic phones, that's alleviated now. These are great-looking devices. The only complaint I had, and I told Samsung this face-to-face, is the backs of both of them get super fingerprinty. Like, within seconds of playing with them, wash our hands and everything, we had to wipe it down again for each photo. So, we were constantly wiping down the phones for the camera at the show. That's my biggest complaint. Otherwise, beautiful devices, and the One M9 too is fantastic. I think HTC did the right thing. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, this doesn't seem like a big upgrade, but what they did was they designed the phone to sort of mix in elements of the One M7 that was very popular, the first one that they did, and then the One M8, which was last year's model that was a little more round, a little more slippery, and so now you have this really beautiful device, a little more sharper on the edges like the One M7 was, and I'm really excited for that. Early impressions on that phone, the camera could use a little bit of some tweaks. It's a 20-megapixel camera. HTC is still updating the software daily, and I saw other reports that were comparing shots on it with other phones. HTC is well aware that they want this to be one of the best cameras they've ever put on a phone, so they're trying to tweak that software before launch. So I'm excited to see how that 20-megapixel camera performs. Sense 7 looks great. I love the customization they did. It's very easy. I know a lot of Android fans can go out there and say, like, oh, it's easy to apply, an icon pack and stuff like that. But this makes it easy for, everyday consumers. You just open up the theming application. You can apply all kinds of cool themes. So I really liked that. And then I think the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge, though, stood out to me because they support wireless charging out of the box and both standards. So you can do Qi, or I guess the other one, Power Matters Alliance. And that's a big deal because Starbucks is rolling out their chargers in stations around the country. Samsung said they're going to work with other partners. I even talked to them about, Samsung, if you go into any airport, you see a lot of their charging stations around the airport. Like, what if you, and those right now require a plug-in, what if you made those wireless charging stands? That seems like probable in the future. So
speaking of wireless charging, not to get off topic, while you were at MWC, you may have missed the story about IKEA is going to be building wireless charging into its furniture.
Right. Yeah, so that's really cool too. I think hopefully over the next couple of years we'll see that in a lot more places. And they said it
Yeah.
charges faster. I'm not sure what they did on the engineering side, but it's faster than before. Because I know, especially as you get used to quick charge and turbocharging, all kinds of these different technologies that can charge your phone up to like 50% in 10 minutes or something. You're like, well, I'd rather not use wireless charging because it's kind of slow. But they said it's faster now, so. A lot of exciting things to try when these phones launch. And again, the mobile payment Samsung Pay will launch this summer, so not the same time that the phones come out, but it supports magnetic terminals too, so you can pay at the terminals. And that's sort of the technology they purchased. Samsung in their press conference that they developed it, but they purchased it with their acquisition of LuPay earlier this year. So lots of exciting stuff on the horizon.
Well, Sasha Bahal has a question related to this. Hey, Todd, HTC One M9 or Samsung Galaxy S6? And if you choose S6, then S6 or S6 Edge, and why?
Well, I think I would go with the S6 Edge just because it's sort of the high-end, most premium phone out of that bunch. I'd say. Well, I don't want to say that. I think the One M9 is a fantastic device. I really like Sense 7. I don't want to knock that for any reason, especially until I play with all of these for a while. But the S6 Edge stood out to me most because I'm really excited to see Samsung Pay. I'm really excited to use the wireless charging. And in my hands, I was just like, wow, this is a really, really nice looking phone. So that's what I'm most excited for, I think. But we should have the One M9. Hopefully, I think they're all scheduled to launch sometime in April. So hopefully we have them in our hands, and then I'll be able to make a final judgment. But
yeah, I'm anxious to see all these. I'm really anxious to try the Edge. It's not a phone I ever foresee myself carrying, but I want to at least try it and see how it feels in the hand and everything else. Now, since you've held them, you can answer the magical question for me. With the Note Edge, I found myself wanting to put my fingertips below the edge screen. How is it with the S6 Edge?
It's a little better on the S6 Edge because the edge isn't as steep. It's sort of just like a soft decline on the sides.
Okay, so it's more of a soft slope.
Yeah, but it's still kind of in the way, I want to say. It's not, you're kind of like, oh, my finger's going to touch it. So we'll see, again, over long-term use. But I'm still pretty attracted to it, and I want to see what else Samsung and the developer partners add to it. Right now, it's sort of just, you swipe in from the edge and you can see like your favorite contacts, or it can glow when you put it face down so you know who's calling you. And then it has some of the edge panels that we saw on the Note Edge as well. But those panels and the developers who have already written apps for the Note Edge, they're not supported by this because they're totally different.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We're getting a couple questions about this, which is something else that we all know you got to try at Barcelona, which was the HTC Vive.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple questions here related to the Vive. We'll hit real quick from Dan Lagus. What do you think about the HTC Vive, just in general? What was your overall feeling?
I was really blown away by it. At first, we were briefed on it ahead of the show by HTC, but we weren't allowed to see it. So we had only seen a picture, and we were all kind of like, like, is there a reason you're not showing it to us? And then we finally, we had private meetings at the show where we got to put it on. And it's really mind-blowing. It reminds me a lot of the Oculus. It's way more advanced than the Gear VR, which is fine because the Gear VR is powered by a smartphone. This requires a very heavy, machinery gaming PC, and then there's a lot of wires right now, and the controllers are still wired, or they're planning on making it wireless. But once you're in that world, it's really incredible. You sort of feel like you're leaving this universe and you're in another one. And it's hard to understand, I guess, until you put it on. You feel like you're somewhere else. The graphics to me weren't as sharp as what we've seen with Oculus, but I think the implementation is really amazing. They have these lasers that they put on the walls, so that when you're in this world, you can see where your boundaries are. As you approach a wall, there's sort of this checkerboard that magically appears, and you can just walk around and using the controllers. Interact with things. So I was in a kitchen and making a recipe, and then in throwing eggs against the wall, which is really funny. And then I was in a Valve obviously created this a portal world where I was supposed to fix a robot, and then they're making fun of me for being a dumb human and all this kind of stuff. But you're just immersed in this world. And in another spot, I was on this sunken ship in this huge whale comes like swimming by me, and it's like right in front of you, so you can touch it almost. And so it's really incredible. And Oculus has this kind of stuff too. And what I saw with the latest prototype from Oculus at CES was, the graphics were a little bit sharper and stuff like that. But man, I think Valve and HTC are going to be great partners, especially for gamers. It looks like that's the kind of content we're going to get out of this. But we know there's movie content, Lionsgate Studios and stuff like that are on board. So really mind-blowing stuff. I can't wait for. I guess the consumer launch is scheduled for this year, is what they're promising. So see what it costs.
That's impressive.
And for the record, I asked HTC the prices, and they honestly, their executive who's in charge of these other, he runs the Re kind of stuff. So he does. He did the Re camera. He did the grip fitness band and stuff like that. He runs all these connected products for HTC. He said, we honestly have no idea what it's going to cost right now. So.
Well, we have a follow-up question from Sasha Bahal. Hey, Todd, since you tried out the HTC Vive, how does it compare to the Oculus Rift and other VR headsets? Did you get any motion sickness?
I didn't get motion sickness, but then again, I don't get motion sickness. I haven't from any of these other ones. I will say there is this detachment from reality feeling that almost causes sort of a stir of panic, where you're like you're in another world, so your brain's trying to comprehend that, and that's what's kind of weird. It's not motion sickness, but it's just like when you're standing on top of a building and you're afraid of heights in a city in this fake world, and your body is scared. That's a weird feeling, because you know that you're just standing in this conference room, but your brain thinks something else. And so that's what's wild about all of these things. And even Gear VR, powered by the Note 4, does that kind of stuff to me when I'm flying around 360-degree views around. New York City is one of the demos. It's wild. And these are just so compared to the Gear VR, which is again powered by just a smartphone. These are powered by both the Oculus and the HTC Vive are powered by super beefy computers. So the difference is huge. And again, I think HTC Vive, Oculus Rift on a par with one another. Just Oculus seems to have slightly sharper graphics, but then the Vive allowed me to interact with the world more than I've ever had a chance to with Oculus. And I know Oculus has plenty of controllers and stuff too. I've just never had a chance to use them.
Awesome.
So immersive. I mean, they're both just mind-blowing.
Right. Well, we have one more question. I think the tact take on this, since you already wrote up like what we gave awards to and everything else, is Sasha Bahal asks, "Hey Todd, what was your favorite parts about MWC 2015? Why don't we discuss a little bit of like what goes on in and around? I mean, was there a press conference you especially enjoyed? A meal you especially enjoyed?
The meals. I don't often get to go around Barcelona, but we had a Saturday where our camera guy was flying in, where it was kind of a little bit of off time. We had to do some writing, but and I got to go walk around, see the Barcelona Cathedral, and then when Ron came in, that's our camera guy from TechnoBuffalo, we had a meal right next to it and had shared some tapas and stuff. I think that was my favorite part. I was showing him some of the city, some of the Gothic Quarter, which is gorgeous. If you've ever been to Barcelona, you know. And then I think that was fun, just showing somebody else a city that I've been to before, usually alone. but also it's hectic, and it's crazy how fast 7 or 8 days we were there goes by. I was in meetings leading up to the show, in meetings through most of the show, and then we're filming and writing late into the night, because thankfully we're still on Eastern and Pacific time zones. They don't have much time to adjust. So we're up late into the night getting everything done for everybody. But it's a good time.
Yeah, it always amazes me how fast CES flies by.
Yeah.
It's just like, didn't we just get here?
Right. Yeah.
It always seems like, oh, okay, now it's time to go home. All right.
And the cool thing is, at TechnoBuffalo, we actually do Airbnb for an apartment there where we have, so Ron and I shared an apartment, and that sort of allows us to immerse better in the culture. We're not just going to a hotel every night, but we're in a neighborhood and walking around there and going to restaurants and stuff around there. So that's always very fun.
Yeah, and so much cheaper than the hotels.
Yes. And the dollar to the euro right now is fantastic. So
yeah, yay! Thankful for that. Well, let's move on from MWC, because we still have the other giant elephant in the room, and that was Monday's Apple event.
That's right.
So we already knew about the Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
We got a few more details, like the pricing.
Right.
And we also saw the introduction of the new MacBook.
Right.
So I'm not even sure where to start. Let's start with the Apple Watch.
Sure.
The price, for me, at least, was a disappointment.
Yeah, I know. I think going into it, I knew it was going to be expensive. We saw it was going to be $349 on the low.
Right.
Apple told us that. But then, I guess the model I wanted was like one of the ones with the steel band. It's the Apple Watch. The actual model I wanted is $1,000, and I had no idea it was going to be $1,000. I thought maybe $550, $600 at the high end.
You got way
too much for me.
John's desired model's $1,200.
Ooh, yeah. So there you go. And paying $350 or $400 for a watch with a rubber band is also kind of hard to swallow. And I get it. There's a lot of technology in there, but when you're looking at the price of competing products, you can get a really nice Moto 360 for $300 with a metal band, or even other watches. It's just like, geez, that's a hard, pill to swallow. And you look at, iPads that can cost that much, or this is, there are models of this that cost more than MacBooks. So that's kind of crazy. But I get it. It's a watch industry and it's sort of luxury and it's not for everybody. But I was hoping I'd be able to enter for a little bit cheaper. And now I'm kind of put off because, honestly, I think the Apple Watch looks fantastic. It looks really exciting. I love the idea that you can, maybe one day I can open my hotel room with NFC built into it, which they demoed. Apple Pay seems cool. All kinds of neat stuff like that. Target yesterday said their Apple lets you, make a shopping list, and as you're walking around, it'll tell you which aisle is the next item's on. Like, that kind of stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
But I just, $350 is a lot of money at the end of the day.
Well, and you think about the fact that that's for the 38 millimeter, which in Apple's defense, they never said 38 millimeter was the ladies and 42 millimeter.
They actually do in the sizing guide.
They do? Okay.
Yeah, in the sizing guide it says fits most women's wrists, and then the larger one says fits most men's wrists. So that's the way they're. Yeah.
So as men, our minimum, unless we want a tiny watch on our wrist, is going to be $400.
Right, exactly.
And I backed the Pebble Time on Kickstarter. I got in early enough that I got in on the early bird special, so I think it was $149. I'm going to have a color screen. I'm going to have 7 days of battery life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't see paying that price for the Apple Watch. I just can't.
I know. But, I wrote the editorial saying that, it's just kind of, it seems crazy to me, and I have a nice watch, and my wife got me at my wedding, and I think that, for a lot of people, I was talking to other journalists, too, you have the sentimental value of these items. Maybe it's a Rolex passed down from your grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, all the way down through your family, and that's sort of the watch that matters to you, and so the Apple Watch has to replace those things, and yet it's very expensive. But I think we'll see, maybe it does some really cool stuff that I just find irresistible when it launches, but I don't know. And again, the battery life kind of concerns me too, because I know with every wearable that I've owned so far, the batteries die, and I never plug it in, and I'm like, oh, great, now I can't even use it. Now I'm too lazy to, deal with putting it on the charger and waiting 3 hours before I can even put it back on my wrist. I'm already out the door. So that's one of my issues too. But
yeah, no, I agree. And Dan Legas asks about the Apple Watch. Hey, guys, do you think the Apple Watch has a better UI than Android Wear?
I haven't played with it, but yeah, John seemed to suggest that it does take some learning. I like Android Wear, but I've always complained. I think the UI is a mess, and so anything at this point seems like it could be a better UI than Android Wear. And that's just because there's just too much digging around. I mean, it reminds me of the problem with Windows Mobile, not Windows Phone, but Windows Mobile, where you had to dig around the operating system all the time to find what you wanted. And I feel like this should be a little better, and I think Android Wear will improve. I mean, it already has drastically, but
right.
I guess the next update, rumor has it, will include gestures and stuff, so it doesn't seem all that far away.
Well, also on Monday we got introduced to the new MacBook, which, of course, you can say, oh, well, it's the bringing back of the old MacBook, although there's very low relation beyond the name.
Yeah.
So you've already written up a couple articles about it, and I just wanted to share my thoughts real quickly. I think my biggest problem with all the laptop situation on Monday, it's fine they want to introduce USB-C, great, but when they updated the Air and the Pro, why didn't they include one USB-C slot on those?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. I mean, that's how you introduce. I was speaking with Joey the other day, and he had a good point about, when we were in the transition between tapes, cassette tapes and CDs, cars came with both.
Right, exactly. You kind of.
Right, and then a few years down the road, we went to CD only, and now you're even seeing cars without CD players, and just having auxiliary plugins and satellite radio. But if they really wanted to push this, they should have included it on the Air and the Pro. And they should have done, fine, yes, I understand you want to do it, as thin as possible on the new MacBook. But making it the only way to do it, I don't think was the right decision.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think I have more problem with that on the MacBook than anything else. I think the MacBook is overpriced, personally. But the USB-C port alone is enough to make me go, I'm not really interested, because like you said in your article, they were talking, oh, it's wireless, and who needs wires and all that. By the way, here's a $79 dongle.
Yeah, right.
It's only $79, but that's not going to be truly mobile. If I have to carry around dongles with me, that's not making me wireless. That's not making me portable.
Yeah, it's making you tangled.
Exactly. I don't know. And we have several questions here about the MacBook. Is there anything you wanted to add that you didn't include in your articles?
No, it's all in my articles. I just think $1,300 is a lot, and I think for Core M it's even more, because you could get a MacBook Air that's more powerful, that still has the USB ports. It doesn't have Type-C, but they did upgrade it. And that's pretty desirable. Or you can go with the MacBook Pro, which has the new trackpad too. And that's what, honestly, now I have my eye on the MacBook Pro. But I haven't seen the MacBook in person, and apparently it's pretty stunning. But for me, I'm really worried about you. The USB Type-C is the only option, and it's the power cord, which worries me a bit more. I'm not sure it has enough power for me. And then, I guess those are the big issues I've had with it.
Yeah. From Sasha Bahal, is the new MacBook necessary? Should it have just replaced the MacBook Air?
I don't think so, because I think that's this is Apple's way, and it happened with DVD players, right? They started removing the DVD players from the MacBooks when they went to the Air, and everybody was like, we still need those. And then now, of course, we don't. And I think Apple's right in saying, yes, this is the future, and I agree, and then that's probably why it's still selling the MacBook Air too. Here, if you need the USB ports, buy this thing, and it's good too.
Yeah, I'm still not sure about this. From Brazen Franco, who actually I think his question was split into two here. So, could the new MacBook really sway away someone from buying the Air? I don't see the point on the new MacBook. The older ones was all about the cheapest to enter the ecosystem, but this new one, weird move for Apple. I'm sorry, it split it into two questions. I'm trying to find the other half. Weird move for Apple to release the MacBook at such a steep price. He's got a very good point. The original MacBook was the cheapest way to enter the Mac ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the white plastic, and then you pay the tax for the black model. It's like $100 more.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're going to use that name, I think maybe they should have come up with a different name.
Yeah, maybe like MacBook Premium or something. But who knows? Maybe it's a sign to come that there's going to be MacBooks that are slightly more expensive, and they drop that price. I don't know what's going on, but. Yeah, I agree. The naming suggests that it should be that entry level. And the funny thing is that you have the Air, and then you have the MacBook, which is lighter than Air. And it's just like, wait, what? But I don't know. Yeah. For me, I think, and for most people, it's probably the MacBook Air is going to be the way to go when you look for students, and it's the cheapest entry, especially if you're looking at the 11-inch model. But Core M need. I feel like Apple and Intel have a partnership probably on Core M, and they were like, make this thin and beautiful laptop for us that runs Core M, so we can show everybody what Broadwell's all about and stuff. So maybe that's what it was.
Quick clarification. Benjamin McDonald brings up the new Type-C is really fast when it comes to charging. It's designed to work with laptops. What Todd meant by the question with power is, yes, they say it will last 9 hours. When you're at an event, it rarely lasts 9 hours, and you don't have access to power. So it's more a question of, are the batteries really as good as they say they are?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, because we saw the Lenovo Yoga 3 Pro or Pro 3 is based on it runs on a Core M processor too, and they were promising really long battery life. And in my usage with that laptop, it doesn't get very far. So I just want to see how the MacBook performs. And yes, Type-C it's designed for charging, and it's supposed to work across tablets and phones and everything. It's great to have that standard. To that, though, my point is that when I'm charging my laptop, as I am right now, then I can't have my microphone plugged into USB, right? Because then I've already used that port. And if I have a hard drive here,
unless you have the dongle, which the dongle only has one of each.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to plug in a hard drive and a mic.
Right. And dongles, sure, they exist, but like I've been telling myself for the 3 years I've owned this laptop that I'm going to buy the Ethernet dongle, and I never have. So I don't know. And I don't want to spend $1,300 just to spend $79 for 2 more ports. That's just me.
I do have the Ethernet dongle for my MacBook Pro because I end up in some weird hotels sometimes that are still wired.
Yeah.
But you never know what situation you're going to end up in when it comes to internet, unfortunately.
Right.
Moving through, we have a bunch of questions coming in here, so let me just peruse quickly. Here's a new product that we have not touched on yet from Andre J. GTPH. Hey guys, what do you think about the new Moto E?
Yeah, it seems cool, right? They just added the LTE to it. It's super affordable. I think it's great. It's great for consumers who, in the past, if you broke a phone or something, you just had to drop tons of money to, $600 to go buy a new one. Now, these Android makers, Motorola, Xiaomi, Alcatel, now with their Idol 3 that was just announced at Mobile World Congress, great phone. I mean, these are all coming to the United States for sub $200 prices, and you can buy these phones. I mean, whether it's your primary phone, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not great. I mean, if it's MediaTek processor, it's not always as powerful as you get from Qualcomm or something like that. But these are awesome options, whether it's backup or your primary phone, or you need a phone because you don't want to pay international roaming costs and you're traveling abroad. I think this is great for everyone. And then for Motorola, it's just a good business decision. They're trying to get into, especially now with Lenovo, into new emerging markets. So Lenovo is huge in China, but Motorola had a grasp in Latin America thanks to the introduction of the earlier Moto G and X and E. So this is just an expansion on that. So nice moves all around, especially for people who need LTE and stuff like that.
While you were in Barcelona, Amazon ran a one-day sale on the Blue Studio 6.
Yeah, there you go, those two.
Yeah, I picked one up. It was $129, dual SIM.
Yeah.
Right there, I was like, this is like the perfect international phone.
Yeah.
Since I'll be able to run my T-Mobile and my 3 SIM when I'm in England.
Right.
Why not? I like it so far. I haven't used it extensively. And the funny thing is, it came with a case.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, a very basic case, but I was like, that's kind of nice.
That's nice.
The screen had a weird feel to it for like the first 20 minutes of using it, and then it like wiped off. So I think it was like some sort of packing dust or something. Now it feels fine. So
yeah.
I don't know, it was interesting. Let's see here. What else have we got? Let's just change things up here for a second. We have a question from Prim Nagoya. Which gaming console do you have? I personally have all 3 of the current ones. I always like to say it's because of my job, but it's just really I love gaming.
I have the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I had the Wii U. I loved it. My wife was like, "You're never playing it," and honestly, I don't play these other ones very much either. I try to. I've been trying a lot more. I played Far Cry 4. I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition now, so I'm forcing myself to spend more time with these gaming consoles. But so the Wii U was sort of sitting here. My wife was like, "You're selling that," so I did.
I've been playing.
At some point, we just get too crowded with electronics here in the living room, and you gotta give in here and there.
Yeah. No, I lately I've been primarily playing the PS4, but that's just because I've been on a huge Destiny kick.
Yeah. Well, I'm a PC gamer too. I just need to upgrade a little bit here to keep going with that. It's about time. It's been 2 years since I upgraded. Then I use the Shield tablet with my TV in my bedroom and play games on that, which is actually really, really cool, especially given the price. Man, it's a pretty neat tablet.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. There was one question that was a lot of fun. I'm trying to find it here. Oh, there it is. From Sasha Bahal, going back to Apple for a moment. What other device would you like Apple to bring back, just like they brought back the MacBook? Again, I'm still saying this is not really the return of the MacBook, but
right.
Okay. So, Todd, you and I joked before the show. We already know what I'm going to say. So
yeah.
What's an Apple product you'd like to see them bring back?
I don't know that it's something like. There's nothing I've seen them, ditch that I really want to see again. I would say I'd like to see the Apple TV revamped, and we've been waiting for that for a long time. They just dropped the price to $69, which is pretty sweet. I don't really use mine all that often, so I kind of want to see what their plan is with HomeKit. That's their initiative and their software development kit for the smart home. I want to see if they decide to make their Apple TV sort of the hub of the home. So I guess it's not bringing it back, but it hasn't been updated in a long time, so it is sort of bringing it back. So I'd say the Apple TV.
I don't know why they haven't updated that thing.
I wonder what they're waiting on.
I don't know, and the price drop almost made me think that maybe they were going to introduce a higher tier Apple TV.
Oh yeah, I mean we were fingers at the ready to write that news.
I know. We were like, okay, say it.
Say it. Yeah.
Okay, they're moving on to another product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As for the product I'd like to see brought back, the iPod Classic.
Called it.
With a solid-state drive, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, this is my current app. I still use this almost every day. This is my 160 gig iPod Classic. But everyone makes fun of me for using it, but I don't care. Oh. Anyway, moving along here. Let's see. Interesting question from Sean the Man 34. Is Thunderbolt dead on Macs?
I don't think so. I think it's just dead.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think on the desktop side, but it looks like it on the MacBook without the adapters. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
For everything.
And a fun note of something I did not realize from Sasha Hall. Hey, Sean, it's been a year, technically tomorrow, since the TechnoBuffalo Show started. Yay!
Yay, all right.
Yes. Of course, it is planned as a weekly show, and it's week 52, and we're at episode 38. We'll let you do the math.
That's how busy we get.
We do, man. We try. I'll say that. We try.
That's right.
But a lot of things come up. And good question here from Brazen Franco, since the precedent has definitely been set. Do you think the Note 5 will lose the removable battery and SD card slot?
Yeah, I think so. It seems like it. Just the way Samsung was talking about it with the Galaxy S6, and almost like, I mean, I know Samsung's fans, and me too. I've always been like, oh, it's great to have the removable battery. It's great to have the expandable storage. The way they talked about it with the S6 and the S6 Edge, they were just like this is how it is. and they would say like there's plenty of storage, 32, 64, 128 gigabyte options. So it seems like that's the way they're going. And if they do the aluminum unibody and stuff like that again, I think that's just how it's going to be. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that's the way Samsung's going.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I mean, you look at it. It doesn't mean it's impossible because HTC with the One M8 and One M9 have expandable storage, so it can be done.
It can be. Going back to the Apple TV for a second, Dan Legis was asking, should I invest in an Apple TV or wait until the next version as they usually update it after the prices drop? I don't know.
Might be waiting for a long time. That's the thing.
Yeah, Apple has a very odd history with the Apple TV, and it's really hard to predict what they're going to do with that product. For so long, they just referred to it as, it's a hobby, it's a hobby.
Right.
Well, when you've sold 25 million of them, it's a little hard to call it a hobby.
Right.
You know, it took Roku almost 5 years to sell 5 million, and Apple sold like 8 or 9 million just last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to sit around and go, well, it's the hobby. We really don't know what they're planning with the Apple TV. That's the problem. The price drop, like Todd and I were just saying, we really thought the price drop was going to indicate the second tier model was coming out, a higher tier. That being said, I think with the price drop, there's a stronger possibility of a September refresh along with the iPhone or the iPad in October.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out there before the holiday season. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. I think, you know, going into the holiday season, that would be a great time to refresh it.
Agreed.
But at that price, and see, here's the thing. As the streaming guy, I've tried every streaming device on the market for the most part.
Get a Roku 3.
Roku 3.
It's $77 right now, right?
The Roku's far more robust. That being said, if you're deep into the Apple ecosystem already, you know, and you have a ton of movies with them or television shows or whatever,
right,
the $69 price is hard to beat. And I don't know what they're going to do in the next version. This is possibly the hardest time ever to be someone on the fence about Apple TV because I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But we don't think you'll be upset with a Roku. I use mine all the time. It's the one I have plugged in. So.
Dude,
it's not even a Roku 3. I have like the cheapest model, I think, and I like that thing. So.
You know, I walk around constantly with the banner, you know, praising the Roku. It's one of my all-time favorite gadgets. I absolutely love it.
Right.
From Sean the Man 34, and this is a question I think that's on a lot of people's minds. Why haven't we seen Touch ID on Macs? And will my Mac require a password even if I'm wearing the Apple Watch? To the second part, we don't know. That's interesting.
It's definitely possible to use Bluetooth to unlock it like we've seen in Android.
Right. As for why Touch ID has not come to Macs yet, I don't know. I kind of... we'd heard some rumors that the next MacBook update would include, and we can't just say MacBook anymore, the next laptop update would include it, but it was a very soft rumor. Right. I don't know.
And Qualcomm at Mobile World Congress, I didn't have a chance to see it myself, but introduced technology that scans your fingerprints through the glass. So it seems plausible if you have a glass trackpad that you could put your finger in a certain spot and have Touch ID work there too. So, and we do know that, you know, the home button on the iPhones is glass and does similar functions. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, for Apple Pay, why not, right? Like if you're on a website in Safari and you just pay using your thumbprint, I mean, it's incredible how well that works, and almost dangerous. I was buying concert tickets with my iPhone and Ticketmaster, and all I had to do was just hold my fingerprint, and there were, you know, here comes 6 tickets, and there goes $300. It's dangerous.
Exactly. Sean the Man, I just saw your comment. I'd already picked another question. I will get to it. That is a very interesting thought. From Benjamin McDonald, I don't have a lot of money, but I would like a new tablet. I have a Samsung Galaxy 2 and a Tab 2, and it's really slow. But what cheap tablet... I cannot speak, Jay. What cheap tablet do you recommend? Not iPads, can't live with iOS.
Oh, man. I don't typically recommend cheap tablets because I think you run into what happened with you there. It ends up getting pretty slow over time. That's a good question. I would look at older models of Samsung. So you can get a Galaxy Tab S used. Those are really, I mean, they're just gorgeous tablets. I'd say try to buy a more premium tablet used or refurbished somewhere. It's probably your best bet.
The reason I'm looking away is I'm looking up a tablet right now. Honestly, I would say look at anything from ASUS.
Yeah, ASUS makes great tablets.
ASUS makes really nice tablets. and they're fairly reasonably priced. So I would say just go to Amazon and look up anything from ASUS tablet-wise would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I wouldn't skimp on RAM or processor because, I mean, just like everything. And actually storage, because you don't want it to slow down on you again.
Exactly.
Actually, I love the NVIDIA Shield tablet, and that's not too bad.
Yeah. The Nexus 9 is nice. I don't know. There's a lot of options out there for Android users. A lot.
It depends what you want to pay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think basically once you know your budget, then that's the easier way to go at it. Good point from Sean the Man that I wanted to get back to. HBO Now runs out in 3 months. HBO now runs out in 3 months. 3 months end around WWDC. Hint, hint. New Apple TV hardware. That's a very interesting thought.
Yeah, the exclusivity runs through WWDC in June.
Yeah. That is a very, very good point, Sean the Man. Thank you for bringing that up. I had forgotten about the 3-month exclusivity. Yeah, that's a very odd exclusivity window.
Yeah, 90 days.
Yeah, I don't know. From Sasha Bahal, how many computers do you guys have? Are they mostly Mac, and which do you use on a daily basis?
Mostly PC, actually. I have my desktop here, I have my MacBook Air in front of me, and then I have a ASUS Windows 8.1 netbook that are my go-to computers. So 2/3 Windows. I actually love Windows, and I have Windows 10 running on my desktop here, which has been great so far.
Yeah. I'm running on an iMac here, and I have another iMac at home, which is an older model, and then I have a MacBook Pro, and just for bumming around when I'm like sitting on the couch, I picked up a refurbished HP Chromebook, which I actually really like.
Yeah, I need a Chromebook in my life.
I really like the Chromebook, but I'm mostly Mac. I have been Windows in the past. I switched, as I've mentioned before. Sorry, you can call me a traitor if you want.
I need a new computer terribly. Laptop, so we'll find. Because the netbook I have, 8.1, is great. It's just, I think I paid. It was on sale at Best Buy for like what, $140? Remember that day? I literally ran out and I texted Sean like, "Sorry, I just went to Best Buy. They had this computer for $140, but I paid for what I got. The trackpad's not fantastic; it's a little jittery, but $140.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just scanning real quick here because we have so many more questions, and we are at the end of the show. So let me see if we have any questions from someone who hasn't already asked one. There we go, from Zeech. With the introduction of the USB-C on the MacBook, do you think we will see USB-C on the next iPhone and iPad?
Oh man, it's a standard, so I'd love to see Apple follow with the industry, but I have a hard time believing it's going to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just switched from, it seems like yesterday I switched from 30-pin to Lightning, but it's been a couple of years.
I don't know. I that thought crossed my mind as well on Monday, and I don't know if they're ready to sacrifice Lightning.
Yeah, I think they like making all the money off accessories with their.
No, Todd, that's silly talk.
They're Apple approved. I forget what the approval moniker is, but their products that use Lightning, they make a lot of money off that. So.
Right. No, I think they're going to stick with Lightning for a little bit just because of the money they make from the accessories.
Yeah. That said, I think we'll see the industry shift. I think we'll see a lot of phones and tablets in the next couple of years.
I do too.
With USB-C, TypeC.
I do too. I agree. Well, folks, that is going to do it for this week's episode. I'm sorry we can't get to all of your questions, but we do appreciate you asking all of them. As always, you can go to the iTunes store if it's back up. You can go to the iTunes store and search for the TechnoBuffalo Show, and we do appreciate if you rate and review us. That does help the show. You can also find us on Pocket Cast. You can find us on Stitcher, which means you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. You can also subscribe via RSS feed. Anywhere there are podcasts, you can find the TechnoBuffalo Show. As always, I've been Sean Ani. I'm the editor-in-chief of TechnoBuffalo. I've been joined by Deputy Managing Editor Todd Hazelton.
Bye, everybody, and yes, the iTunes Store is still down.
Until next week, take it easy. Bye-bye.